And welcome to the Writer's Life. Coming at you from outside again, my outside office. Give you a look. These buildings are old. They were constructed during World War II, and they were meant to house um, newlyweds of newlyweds and couples who had just fought World War II and they needed a place to live, and some of them were using their GI Bill to go to the nearby college and stuff like that. So it has this college vibe to it, the university vibe, like Brown University or Harvard or something like that. It's very stately. Anyway, I liked it. I've never lived in any other apartment complex, but this one. Anyway, so okay, what I wanted to say first is, you know what I'm going to say. Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch out the like button and tap the bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on one exciting video. Um, Bit of a maudlin topic today, but it's still part of the writer's life. And I've written an essay on it. It'll be up on. It was on Medium once before, but I rewrote it for Kindle Vella. It'll be out on the 14th, and the title is the same as this, which was "Writers and Blowing Their Brains Out." I got to go back all the way to like 1979 when I was what they called the fourth form, because they did the English military system where I went to high school, private high school. Um, that's sophomore year for you, for everybody else, I guess. We had this great English teacher. His name was Frank Nash, and he was a Hemingway expert and a Civil War expert. Anyway, he had this great photograph of that Kirsch took of Papa in 1957. It's the famous one where he's wearing like the fisherman sweater and he's got the white beard and he's kind of looking off to the side. It's an iconic photograph of him. And it's right. It's kind of synonymous with the old man of the sea. And anyway, like on the first day one, he was talking about whether Hemingway put the double-barreled shotgun in his mouth or put it up to the top of his head, to his forehead, when he blew his brains out on July 2nd, which is my birthday, at 7:00 in the morning in 1961. And it just fascinated me. I was like, oh my God. And then we started reading Hemingway, and I was even more fascinated with him because we spoke about how Hemingway in A Farewell to Arms describes getting blown up, which he did during the war, when he was working for the Italians, delivering chocolates and cigarettes in the trenches and stuff like that. And so he almost lost his leg. But the two or three guys he was with got blown up. They all died, and he miraculously survived. He was 18 or 19, and he carried one of them for a while with his leg messed up, and then while he was carrying one to safety, he got hit with a bullet from a machine gun. So he was like the superhero, right? But he described that and he describes it in A Farewell to Arms. Read it, where he felt his soul go out of his body, and he describes it like a blast furnace door opening with heat, and then his soul rushing out of his body, and then somehow it stopped and rushed all the way back in, and then he started feeling pain and stuff like that. So that's an out of body experience, right? So he died for a little bit and came back, and ever since then the theory's been that like death was always on his mind, always. Like he'd experienced it once before, and he worried that it would come back and haunt him again. And all of his work had this thread throughout. Like people even back in his day said he was obsessed with death. Any good reason to be, right? But anyway, I was fascinated with all this stuff, and I became a real Hemingway aficionado on my own. I read everything 2 and 3 times, and read all the biographies, and talked to people who knew him, and now I'm friends with some of the family and all that sort of stuff. But and then there are other writers. Naturally, broadened my horizons, and I got I became a Hunter Thompson fan, became a Martha Gellhorn fan who just happened to be married to Ernest Hemingway, and fans of Richard Brodigan, and even like Anthony Bourdain. Um, the common denominator with all these people is they killed themselves, and in my opinion, they lived great lives that we all wish we could live. Hemingway, everybody knows about his adventurous exploits all over the world. Tony Bourdain had literally the best job in the world, and looked like he had the greatest life. Martha Gellhorn also, she lived all over the world. Um, was a great writer. Sylvia Plath, Richard Brodigan was very famous, had a house like in Malibu. And yet they killed themselves. Like when they had at least, at the latest, like when they had at least decades left to produce work and to whatever. So I guess the obvious answer would have to be depression, because depression and art seem to go hand in hand, right? And other people have these theories that, like in Hemingway's instance, he couldn't write anymore because of depression and electroshock therapy. And then, like, I read Martha Gellhorn's letters, and she actually called his suicide an act of bravery, because she said, once you're used up and you can't produce anymore and you can't be the writer anymore, like, then there's no point in going on, which I disagree with. To me, I don't have this. Like, some people might be watching this and like, oh, I hope Vin's not thinking about something like this, because I'm most definitely not. I love my life. I wish I would have more of it. And those thoughts don't even cross my mind. No matter, I've had some bad times. We all do. Jordan Peterson says he says life is a struggle. There's no getting around it. Life is a struggle. And if you haven't faced tragedy yet, you're going to, in one shape or form or another. You just are. That's just life. How you deal with it determines your character. But in any case, I don't know. Like, it just irritates me that these people would do this, because I find it like, I want more Tony Bourdain, and I would have wanted more Richard Brodigan. He'd probably be deceased now. He'd be too old. And I would have wanted another at least 10 years of Hemingway's work. And Martha Gellhorn, when she committed suicide, she was almost 100 years old. She was practically blind. I think she was legally blind. She had awful arthritis. She certainly couldn't write anymore. And she had like liver cancer. She was going to die anyway. So I'll give her a pass. And she did it with a cyanide pill that she held on to since World War II. And she put on like one of her favorite cassette tapes, like a book, like she used to listen to books because she couldn't read anymore. And she got in bed and got comfortable and took the pill. And so I'll give her a pass. Sylvia Plath, I don't give a pass. She was only like 28 or something. Her brain was not even fully formed, I don't think yet. How old do you have to be when your brain's fully formed? I think it's 26. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. There's no answer to all this stuff. The David Foster Wallace guy, did I get it right? I know he has 3 names. I didn't like his writing. I thought it was boring, but no offense. Hey, don't say anything bad about the Dead. And I don't mean the band. I hated that Dead. I like punk rock. Anyway, but he became this young success, and he's like, I think I'll kill myself now. Why? Anyway, listen, if you're watching this and you're out there and you have suicidal thoughts, you can't just Google suicide hotline or suicide help near me or something like that. that, because it's very, some people get way down and they don't think it's worth it anymore. I do. I think that it's worth. You know what? I think I'll wait until I at least have a beer and a pizza, right? And then maybe by then I'm feeling better. All right, you guys. I'll try to get to you tomorrow. It's a beautiful Saturday, just gorgeous Saturday. Um, as usual, working all weekend. I leave for Europe next month, so I want to be way ahead. So I can go to Europe and work all the time. I don't consider this work, though. All right, you guys. I hope you're having a great day, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.